Go or Ve Perove opens this week at Children's Theatre Company. Get tickets today for this joyful bilingual musical where delightful dogs drive, swim, play baseball, and race to the big dog party. Get tickets today at childrenstheatre.org. That's childrenstheatre.org.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota. In the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. In the afternoon drive and in the nighttime hours in Seattle, 1150 AM KKNW. And, of course, on BAM, Blue Amp Media at blueamp.co on Substack. That's blueamp.co on Substack. It is the Matt McNeil Show for your, Thursday. That's right, it is. We're going to be talking to All Energy Solar coming up here in the next hour because... obviously, the tax credit stuff, I want to kind of go over that. Sometimes we do this stuff where we'll talk about how things are changing. And, it's kind of a mess in regards to, it's kind of a mess. Brett is with us today. Hello, Brett. How are we?
Hey, doing all right here.
I will also say that coming up here in next hour, I'll have some Blue Man Group tickets to give away. So listen for your chance for that. Are you excited about the old Olympics there as they get going there?
Yeah, I always like the Winter Olympics, even if, hockey's my sport, and I'm wondering if they're still going to be able to play on that rink that's still not finished.
Well, they apparently, the bigger problems for the hockey, did you see that the Finland and Canadian hockey game had to be postponed because quite literally they had an insane amount of people getting the stomach flu. So, it's not good. Not good. All my best to those fine Swedes. Those fine Swedes. Hey, are we broadcasting on Substack? We're good there?
No, they're having trouble connecting right now, so hopefully we'll get on there.
Well, that's, it's welcome to America. We'll have Substack up here momentarily for all the people up there watching on that. I will give you, here you are. We've got scores to talk about with Olympic, because they have to start some of the sports early because they got so many things. Like there's the curling arenas. They're doing the mixed curling, mixed doubles. Hey, hello there. Hello, Norway. Hello, Switzerland. Hey, how you doing? Actually, I don't want to even imply that. The two Corys, Corey Dropkin and Corey Thies, they dominate. They won against Norway 8-6, and they beat Switzerland 7-4. And then in women's ice hockey, the USA, which does not have the stomach bug as of right now, they, of course, the Czech Republic, the check is in the mail because they beat them 5-1. So that's only a joke I can pull out at the Olympics, but I will pull it out every Olympic ceremony I can there. So USA, I'm once again, Patrick and I have been talking about this week. I'm preparing myself for a lot of booing of the U.S. team. They're actually really concerned of how it's going to look tomorrow night when they do the opening ceremony, how bad the booing is going to be of the Americans.
Isn't that just a wonderful thought for the Olympics? We've fallen so much, the whole world is going to boo us at the games.
Yeah, it's basically, that's kind of where we're at right now. So 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205 is the phone number. I want to get into something I've actually enjoyed talking about here. I've got a larger subject I want to get into here in just a little bit, but I want to take some time here to talk about Melania, the documentary.
Did you go see it the other day?
Oh God, no. I went and saw Hamilton, and I did not mention. I actually did poke my head in. So they took the names of the movies. I went to an AMC, and if you go to an AMC, they have, here is Hamlet's playing at this point at this theater. They have that throughout the thing. They had taken all the names down, I think, to stop people from going into and seeing what it was like in the Melania movie. But I noticed a consistent path of elderly white people, and I followed them in, and indeed was the Melania movie. And it was not exactly most well attended.
I'm shocked by the fact you saw people going in.
Well, it was a matinee, and you'll understand why here in a second.
They weren't like cardboard cutouts that were just sitting in the theater, were they, to make it look like there were people there?
I think they could have been watching the Avengers. They had no idea what was on that screen. It wasn't exactly the youngest crowd. Like I said, I think the average age was Jurassic. an independent cinema in Oregon, starting off here, though, has claimed Amazon pulled screenings of the documentary about Melania in a protest to the cinema's marquee. As reported by the local paper, the Lake Oswego Review, toughest jumble you'll ever find. The general manager of the Lake Theater and Cafe has claimed that the corporation canceled future screenings of the Brett Ratner authorized study of the First Lady after being alerted to promotional pushes such as, to defeat your enemy, you must know them, Melania, and does Melania wear Prada? Find out on Friday. I'd give that. I'd go see the movie. That's called enticing. Writing on the cinema's Instagram page, Jordan Perry says, got a call that the higher-ups at Amazon were upset with how our marquee marketed their movie. That per them, Sunday would be our last day here. Oh, I'm sure that the Lake Oswego, Oregon theater is the deal breaker for them. Amazon's cancellation of the film in Oregon comes as some of the U.S. have flagged the incongruity of the healthy ticket sales and apparently empty cinemas. Like I said, didn't seem like there was a lot of elderly folks in that one, but it was all elderly folks. I'll say that. The film took in $7 million over its opening weekend domestically and opened at number 3 in the box office. The Daily Beast reports that there have been accusations of fake ticket sales to boost the box office totals, citing the Substack of industry pundit Tom Brueggemann. The article claims industry sources say there were signs that blocks of tickets were purchased for the weekend, then distributed to senior homes. Republican activists and other interesting parties for free trip to the booth. Was there? I didn't see the minibus outside from trembling whispers. They could have been there. Oh, is this the one? Is this a porn film? Well, never mind. I can't know.
I heard this one's a talkie.
Exit reports from the weekend screenings in the U.S. suggest that the older white women were the demographic most responsible for propelling its success. In the U.K., where Melania opened across 155 screens, takings were considerably softer because I don't think you can do what they can do here with the movie theaters there. The film opened at number 29 in the UK. Its average per screen was 212 pounds per screen. So that means for all the showings on each individual screen, they basically took $350 for everyone, which is, 10 tickets for every screening over that weekend. The U.S. takings for the film currently show is at 98.8% of its overall total. The Melania native Slovenian proving the best performing international territory. Overall, the film opened in 26 countries after the South African release was abruptly canceled the day before, with local distributors citing a current climate and recent developments, or just, we've seen it. It's trash. We're not airing it. In the UK, some industry insiders question whether the unusually wide rollout of the film could be an indication of forewalling the release strategy, which distributors pay cinemas to screen the movie. Oh, well, it would explain. Okay, so we talked about this. The movie cost $40 million, which, here's your nice little check there, Melania. Pretend that you're happy married. And then they spent $35 million, so almost the same exact amount of money on marketing. This would explain a lot. Because, if you spent that much money on marketing, you would see billboards everywhere. You would see posters and ads everywhere. You would see, unless I guess maybe, how much is it per 30-second ad in the Super Bowl this year? Do you know off the top of your head? Is it like 2 million, 3 million?
I thought I saw 2 million on there, at least 2.5. So
you're looking at a fairly substantial, you can get a few ads. Oh, God, apparently that's what it is. It's they bought up a bunch of tickets. They're giving them to senior centers who, I'm going to guess, half the people there have no idea where they're going. They're just getting in a bus, and it's some place to sit with a comfy chair for a little bit. And then they're going home and they're saying, I saw something about a flying saucer. No, that was her hats, ma'am. It was an alien, and the alien was so unbelievable. It was this large orange one, and he had these wide cankle ankles. I mean, it was just horrific. And he slouched, and he made fart noises, and I couldn't believe it. That's the most unbelievable alien I've ever seen in my life. The ship is on Melania's head. There you go. Avengers assemble. 952-946-6205. Oh God, yes, I am taking a lot of. Hey, you come into my city and you come into Minneapolis and you attack us, and decorum's out the door, I guess. I should mention European allies. Okay, I'm gonna start with a story, and then I'm gonna talk for a little bit here about a lot of things and how they're connected. But I want to get with this because I saw this, and sometimes you have to see a whole bunch of stories, and you kind of step back and you kind of say, okay, wait a second, all this really kind of is connected if you kind of filter through what is really going on. And we start off with apparently Vance is talking how about Europe was on super secret probation. Aha. European allies of the U.S. have made more concessions to the U.S. over Greenland than they have publicly admitted. Vice President, moron boy, he basically suggested we definitely got much more than we initially had. Vance had an interview with Megyn Kelly. He suggested the framework was a future deal unveiled by President Trump last month. Okay, you're arguing you got all these things, but then you yourself admit that it's a future deal and might not come to grasp. I mean, I can do that too. Hey, guess what? I'm going to discover a self-thinking Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to become a billionaire. And so just call me a billionaire now because I'm the greatest inventor of all time. See, it doesn't work that way, right? You can't just do that. But Vance is here now trying to argue that, we didn't really back down with Greenland. When we realized we were about to implode NATO overall and possibly get into a war with our closest allies, we didn't back down. They gave us, hey, Donald Trump, he gets to date someone's daughter now. I mean, nothing. I mean, that's kind of where they're at right now. And it's just so pathetic because, of course, Europe is not backing down on this. And, of course, all these allegations, no matter how much that Trump starts saying that Russia and China are all over the place, but they're not. They're absolutely not on Greenland. But, it's just your lies being exposed for the lies that they are. It's just, it's sad. And the idea, this feeling like that you have to basically kind of come back and keep winning and keep arguing this and keep insisting that, nope, that you have indeed been victorious. And no, you're not. But this is the beginning. I'm going to come back, talk about something else here. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Hi, this is Frank Brown with Minuteman Press Uptown. It's election season. If you're campaigning for a candidate, your outreach needs top quality union printed materials, from direct mail and yard signs to door hangers, buttons, t-shirts, and flyers. Minuteman Uptown is your union shop to get people to the polls. We print everything. We'll keep your candidate top of mind, target your message with a laser focus, and maximize your voter turnout efforts. Get started today at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. February is the month for love, so when was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it deserves? Maybe you've been procrastinating on the holiday post-mortem cleanup at your house. Are you worried if you got down on your hands and knees what you might see or smell? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the largest air filter in your home. And what's worse, you're going to be stuck inside breathing this nasty stuff for months. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call my friends at Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. A 4.9 rating on Google reviews and over 21,000 satisfied customers can't be wrong. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
AM 950 would like to thank everyone who joined and donated during our winter membership drive. Your support shows that Minnesotans still value an independent progressive radio station that delivers facts, not spin. AM 950 is locally owned, based right here in the Twin Cities, and dedicated to uplifting small businesses and diverse communities. At a time when some voices are being pushed aside, AM 950 refuses to be silenced. Please help keep progressive radio on the air. Visit am950radio.com and donate today.
Hey, Francois, have you made any New Year's resolutions?
Non.
Well, mine is to learn some French. Can you help me?
Bien sûr.
How do you say this? Can I buy you?
Est-ce que je peux t'acheter
Macaroons from Nicolette's.
des macarons de Nicolette?
Now, say it all at once.
Est-ce que je peux t'acheter des macarons de Nicolette?
Oh, absolutely. I'll have a box of raspberry rose, blueberry cheesecake, and chocolate.
Mais c'est quoi ça?
Thank you, Francois. You can order them online at nicoletsmacaroons.com or visit their store in Plymouth. Merci.
Hey, Chanhassen in Eden Prairie. It's Alex with Buzz Cut Mowing. Why wake up early, freeze, and shovel snow when I can handle it for you? I provide fast, reliable snow removal so your driveway and sidewalks stay clear, safe, and stress-free all winter long. Relax, enjoy your morning coffee, and let me do the heavy lifting. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today and make this winter easier, warmer, and worry-free with Buzz Cut Mowing, because nobody likes shoveling snow.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Okay, so I brought in the Greenland thing, and let's talk about what happened with Greenland. Actually, if I can. Let's talk really quick before I get into a lot of things here. The power structure of MAGA. What is MAGA? How does MAGA exist? And what I've talked about a lot of times is that MAGA is Trump. I mean, and when Trump is gone, and I'll get to the end of that, when I get to the end of this, you'll see this. When Trump is gone, whether he's fled to Saudi Arabia or, as all of us eventually do, leaves this motor coil and passes on, MAGA will die with him, because the reality is of what he represents and how he has been handed the power. MAGA is Trump, but what also MAGA are these extremist far-right jackasses who never in a million years thought they would actually be close to running it all. And because of Trump, they have been launched into a leadership role. Now, this is not necessarily all the Republican Party. I mean, it's some. I mean, yes, it's some for sure. But it's Trump, and it's these opportunists that have placed themselves around Trump because they realize that he's the Pied Piper of morons, that Trump starts speaking and the worst elements of society come out like cockroaches from hiding underneath the fridge and become part of his little tribe, per se. To get their power, what they have do is they've unleashed the bullies. You see, so Trump at the top and his power-hungry fools. The next level in the power structure is the bullies, the people who will threaten people, the people that will go after people. It's the trolls. It's all that stuff, because you can't keep the next group, the rest of the Republicans, in line. You can't keep them in line without the bullies. It is actually an insanely similar situation to what Hitler did in Munich in the beer hall push by taking the alcoholic drunks of Munich and forming them into the Nazi party. It's how they do it. You take a group of people who have been, ignored because they should be ignored, but then you give them it's not you, it's all them. And the Republican Party, the actual voters, that third stage down, so Trump and the opportunists, the bullies, and then the rest of the party, they fall into one of two categories. Cowards, absolute freaking cowards, or they say, I'm not racist. Okay, racism isn't an on or off switch. It's a dimmer switch, okay? You might not be wearing a sheet, burning a cross, and making a noose, but you still are the same people who said, When Trump said, I'm going to round them all up and throw them out of the country, you went, yay, go get them, Donald. So you might not be an 8, 9, or 10 on the old racism dial, but you're a 4 or 5 or a 6 on the racism dial. And that's who you are. You went with racism because you like that. And that's how you got there. So it's either that, you're either somewhat racist, tolerant of racism, or you're a freaking coward. It's one of the two. So there's your power struggle. Okay? Trump has had multiple things that he has done where he tries to unleash the bullies to get his way and force his agenda, and has middling results. This morning, I read the article about Texas A&M University is about to get sued because there was a teacher there that taught a book. There was about children's books, and the children's book was about gender, gender studies. It was a gender studies children's book, and it was part of this larger class. And she was immediately fired because Trump heard about it, and some of the bullies heard about it, and of course the opportunists that are the MAGA Texas legislature and governor's office all threw a fit and said, fire her immediately, and they did, without cause or review or chance to defend themselves. They just fired her. Well, she is now suing Texas A&M because they fired her wrongly. That actually she should have gone through a process. And funny, all of a sudden, all the people that said that she should be fired because that's what they wanted, they bullied Texas A&M into doing this. All of a sudden, now that Texas A&M is pretty much dead to rights going to lose this court case, all of a sudden they're, well, I never told them to fire. I just said I was a little concerned about the subject matter. Texas A&M is all on their own. Same thing. If that sounds familiar, we've had another case of that up here where I've talked about the Minnesota Sheriff's Association, that ICE wants the sheriffs and the county jails to hand over anyone and hold them indefinitely without a warrant. And the Minnesota Sheriff's Association, once again, not exactly liberals, these are far-right guys, have said, we've already had one county that did this and got sued. Nobles County got sued and lost because you violated that prisoner's civil rights by holding them without cause, without a warrant for 2 days. You can't do that. And what have they done? They've gone to, they're mainly attacking Walls and Ellison, which is funny because they really can't stop ICE from working if they want to. ICE has been thwarted by right-wing elements of the state, which have said, no, you have to have a signed warrant. And what is Trump they're doing? They're telling the bullies out saying, you better hand these people over. They're all mass murderers, that sort of thing. And they're like, I'm not going to, because it's interesting watching the sheriffs, their willingness to work with an authoritative state kind of has butted their heads up against the idea of wasting their county's taxpayer dollars. And so they're saying, I don't know if I want to do that. A $2 million settlement against this county is not going to help us that much anyway. And then I brought up Greenland. Greenland was another case. Here it was. You better give it to us. You'd better give it to us. No. And European Union, Denmark and the European Union and Greenland said, no, we're not going to give it to you. And so they're still trying to make this into a win, that they didn't basically get their bluff called. And by the way, this goes to Texas A&M. I'll go back to that story. You idiots, you freaking morons, have a spine. Or the law firms that cowered to him, or the news media that cowered to him. He was never going to win, but he bullied you into submission. And now all of a sudden, you basically are all, like the Washington Post, and I was like, they're losing everything. Well, we never told them they had to fire everybody. Well, yeah, kind of you did. So this is kind of how they operate. So you have the power structure as Trump and the opportunists who see Trump as a path to get power at the top of it. You've got the bullies who are pretty much all racist pigs at that second level. And then the rest of the Republicans who some of them are racist, some of them are cowards. And how Trump has been able to cultivate this and push this forward is the bully technique. Go and do this or else we're going to destroy you. Well, I can't. It's legally impossible for me to do that. And then, of course, they say, well, whoever said we were absolutist about this? Where this gets really interesting is as things are happening that are waking people up, namely those Republicans who asked for this, but really, I guess now that they see what they've asked for coming to life, are embarrassed. The MAGA castle is starting to crumble. More on this when I come back. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Come on, you know it's true. Work is almost bearable when the Stephanie Miller Show is on. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Mary T. Caring for others runs deep in my family. My grandmother, Rosa, was a nurse who cared for people in their homes more than a century ago. Inspired by her compassion, my mother, Margaret, and I founded the Mary T. family of companies nearly 50 years ago. Today, we continue that legacy across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, and Arizona, providing senior living, assisted living with memory care, home health, hospice care, rental housing, and support for people with disabilities. Each service is personal, creative, and focuses on the unique needs of those we serve. We also believe in joy and community, which is why we opened Crooner Supper Club in Fridley, a place to celebrate life with music, laughter, and connection. At Mary T., we're proud to be a Minnesota family company rooted in compassion, inclusion, and respect, and proud supporters of AM 950 and the values that this station represents. Visit MaryTinc.com to learn more.
Congratulations to Mary T, named one of the most admired CEOs of 2026 by the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Celebrate Valentine's with the perfect musical. The Chameleon Theater Circle is proud to present I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. Bright, sexy, witty, and fun, this show will appeal to anyone who has ever fallen into the deep end of love and come up gasping for air. Shows run 3 weekends starting February 13th at Inver Hills Community College. Just Google Chameleon Theater to see times and reserve tickets. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change with the Chameleon Theater Circle. Get your tickets now.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly sunny skies today with a high near 38, tonight cloudy with a low around 31, and Friday sunny with a temp falling to 25. Mavericks Real Roast Beef in Roseville sets the standard for savory satisfaction. Experience the perfection of their Philly steak, turkey bacon, avocado, and more. Elevate your meal with freshly fried fries or onion rings. Visit mavericksbeef.com or visit them off Lexington and Roseville. Mavericks Real Roast Beef.
This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Broadcasting in the afternoon drive in Seattle, where they're going head over heels for the Super Bowl there. Also in the nighttime hours, 11:50 a.m. KKNW in Chicago, WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Bam! Blue Amp Media at blueamp.co on Substack, blueamp.co on Substack, and as well as Blue Amp on YouTube. And is it Twitch? Am I on Twitch too?
Twitch is the one, yep.
Twitch. Hi, Twitch. And of course, on the mothership where I am your mother. It's AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show. So, all right. So what did I just recap real quick? MAGA power structure. Trump and opportunists at the top, bullies in the middle, the rest of the Republican Party dragged along. The rest of the Republican Party who they might not be full-fledged Klan racist, but they're either somewhat racist on the dimmer switch, a 4, 5, or 6 in there. They're tolerant of racism because that was the entire freaking campaign in 2024 is racism, and you all voted for it. So that's on you. Or you're cowards. So I'll let you choose which one you are. Are you a coward or are you a, racist light? And then the other thing is they tried to do their bully pulpit where they basically send the bullies out there to try to force their way with other things. And we talked about the Texas A&M story and the Greenland, and then how they're trying to force the Minnesota County sheriffs into complying with their ICE agenda. Here's another story. Once again, might not seem like it's related, but this all kind of is showing the crumbling structure right now of MAGA, because once again, MAGA is Trump. And someone asked me on the live stream here that they said if MAGA dies when Trump goes, what would fill the vacuum? I don't know. As a matter of fact, my guess is going to be is there might actually be a moment where the country is like what happened when the Whigs decided that you had to be pro-slavery to be a Whig, and at that point, Republicans who are now Democrats because the party's basically flipped in the 1960s, the Republicans left the Whig Party, formed the Republican Party, and that changed forever. So maybe that's what happens, is that if the guys like Stephen Miller and Tulsi Gabbard and Vladimir Putin are all saying, no, he is still in charge, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to wrestle the party structure away from them, I think a lot of people will leave because Trump made them convinced people that their racism wasn't racism. It was something righteous and noble. And now we kind of see, it was just racism, which brings me to this other story, which I wanted to get into. A clear majority of Americans say they do not trust the Trump administration's explanation of the fatal shooting of Minneapolis nurse Alex Preddy. A new Quinnipiac University poll. Deep public skepticism over the shooting, which has now been ruled a homicide by a medical examiner. 61% of the registered voters say the administration has not given an honest account of the incident. Just 25% believe it has. Those numbers actually matter a little bit here. The shooting carried out by federal agents more than a week ago has triggered widespread outrage and calls for accountability. 8 out of 10 voters say an independent investigation is necessary to determine what happened. 80% of the country watched what happened to Alex Preddy, listened to Trump's explanation, saw the videos, and realized, nope, there has to be a full investigation. The poll also found that 78% of voters have seen the video of the shooting, which shows the moment Preddy was killed. 62% said the shooting was not justified, while 22% said they believe it was. And by the way, how about those two numbers matching up? 78% have said they've seen the video. 22% have said they haven't. Meanwhile, 22% say that the shooting was justified. It's almost like everyone who has refused to watch the video because they know it will prove them wrong. And that is the key. They know it will cause them to question the reality that they have built for themselves. They say, it was justified. 59% of voters saying the recent shootings in Minneapolis reflect broader problems with the agency, not just isolated incidents. Public approval of ICE is down, dropped to 34%. 60% now, ICE should be withdrawn from Minneapolis in its entirety. 60%. Yeah, Holman's not, I don't think they're going to be here much longer. I hope they're not because they're still horrible. I'll get to that next hour. But no, there is a problem with the model that Trump has created with MAGA. And that is that down deep inside, I think every one of them knows, yep, this is racist. Yep, he had sex with kids. Yep, ICE is a federalized, militarized force that is basically here to get, areas of this country that are not MAGA friendly under control. Yep, the immigration policy is racist. Yep, they know it all. Yep, they know it all. But Trump usually has been able to put out at least a thin enough veil of excuses to hide this from reality. And now people are starting to not question it. And the reason why is the same thing I've talked about. I talked about Stein and talked about it as well earlier this week. It's that line from Saturday Night Live where the guy said, I invaded Minneapolis to get the Epstein files off the front page, but Minneapolis went so bad, I've now released the Epstein files to get Minneapolis off the front page. They're at the point now where their cluster Fs are so big and so bad that they really can't hide anymore, which is a pretty big problem if you want to threaten people down the line, because as much as you want to threaten people, there are elements of this, all this stuff that's going on right now, which rational people who might be somewhat racist. And like I said, racism is not an on-off switch. There are some people who are full Klan members and Nazis, but there are a lot of people who, if all of a sudden Trump said, we're going to have segregated dining areas in restaurants again, would probably say, I don't think it's ideal, but would still go along with it. And then all of a sudden they would see people getting arrested for trying to get a hamburger in a restaurant. And then all of a sudden they'd say, well, that's not good. I don't want to be part of this. And there all of a sudden it starts to erode. Let's talk about a few things with this. The immigration policy. Once again, every single Republican voted for what is going on right now in Minneapolis. We actually said this was going to happen. We actually said it. We actually did a preview, a prediction post on the blog, Progressive Citizen X. I did a prediction of all the things that were there, and this is what we said was going to happen because Trump said it was going to happen, and you all went to his rallies and you saw this, and you all applauded for it. But there is this problem with your perception of it wasn't just tough guy talk. No, it's Trump and the racist opportunists at the top of the MAGA heap that really did want to go full Klan, full Nazi. They did. And you're watching this and you're seeing little Liam get yanked with his little hat and his Spider-Man backpack and arrested and saying, wait a second, I didn't ask for that. Yes, you did. You didn't ask for a nuanced immigration policy. You went with the deranged lunatic rabid orangutan with the sledgehammer. And now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, where did that come from? And now you're having to face the reality of what you have done because you all knew this. Down deep inside, you knew it. And you warmed yourself. You warmed your little cockles with the idea that it was just owning those libs. And now you're realizing, no, maybe the libs were not trying, we weren't owning them. They were actually trying to warn us away from fascism. How about the Epstein files? I mean, come on. I mean, it's pretty clear at this point that Donald Trump, there seems to be enough allegations. He's raped kids. He's basically helped traffic children. I mean, I was talking when these files came out with the latest drop of files with a conservative Christian who still supports Trump. And I just sort of said, let me get this right. You think that hundreds of people over the decades from completely different places, from the 80s, the 90s, the zeros, the tens, all these people who have made allegations against him, they're all lying. All the police reports, that they're all lies. All the court documents, they're all lies. And then the stuff that he himself has admitted and said over and over and over again. That's not an admission to go with everything else there. That's just basically that he was just trying to get under your skin. Really? By implying that he was a child sex pervert. That's how he was trying to get at us? Your own argument doesn't match up, which they kind of realize. And even though we've all been screaming this for 8 years, they're now just starting to wake up to this. They're now just starting to see the ludicrous nature of what they've actually enabled. Not because they didn't hear it and they didn't know it, but they just chose to ignore it. And now all of a sudden, here they are, and all of a sudden you're rounding up people, or you're basically defending a pedophile. And it's starting to erode that base. That all of a sudden the racism is not as important to them as they thought it was. The racism is still important, but they're all of a sudden running up against the reality that my racism is it more important than protecting a child sex pervert? Is it more important than seeing young children dragged down the street? Is it more important than seeing Alex Preddy and Renee Good gunned down in the streets of Minneapolis? Which brings me to Alex Preddy, the latest example of this, the Second Amendment guys. Because for Trump and the opportunists, the Second Amendment never mattered to them. Their racism always trumped the Second Amendment guys. They knew you guys were a reliable vote. But the second they needed an excuse to gun down a man in the street, that legally carried gun was all of a sudden not legitimate. And boy, has things since Alex Preddy started to change. And since the latest release of the Epstein files, which was once again to get Minneapolis off the front page. have things started to change, that all of a sudden the Second Amendment guys are like, wait a second here. What was that about? All of a sudden the guns are bad? No. The guns are supposed to be an absolute. We're supposed to be, the most important thing is the gun, right? No, not anymore. Because the people at the top of the heap have to choose between guns and racism. And guess which side you're on there? You're getting an L there, gun guy. You're getting the loss. You're taking the loss. Because the racism is the most important thing. The people that are up there at the top, they are the racists who are on the dimmer switch at 8, 9, and 10. They are. And once again, these are the guys that back in the early 80s were living on freaking compounds in the middle of Montana. And now all of a sudden, they're basically in the meeting rooms of DC. And they don't want to lose this power. But Trump is all that's basically got them there, because there is no one else. Stephen Miller, for God's sakes, he'd be laughed out of DC. J.D. Vance, he's not going to unify anybody. Who in that carnival of morons is going to actually be able to carry this on as this starts to erode? You need to come to grips with one thing, that you will never be able to get all of this country to agree, boy, was he horrible. 22%. 22% of this country, pretty much all the Republicans, all the far-right MAGA, they have literally pulled a don't look up. They refuse to even see the evidence they already know will show them that their reality is false, that Alex Preddy was gunned down by agents in the streets of Minneapolis. So they just refuse to watch the video, and then they can because their racism is more important than anything else. This is why like I said, it's a whole bunch of different stories. It's Greenland and Texas A&M and Preddy, and it's the polling, but it all points to the one thing, is that Trump, because he is truly the horrible piece of crap that we've always said he was. And we're now, and you can't hide that for that long. He just is this horrible. He is the smallest, pettiest, weakest man I have ever seen in my entire life. And now this is all he's got left as the economy starts to crumble, as the ag markets start to crumble, as his grift scheme starts to become more and more important at the expense of all the rest of us, as he is exposed as a child rapist, as he's exposed as a child sex trafficker, as he's exposed as a tyrant wannabe who put his militarized force into a major U.S. city and had them kill people at will. That is basically starting to wake people up in his own party, the ones where the racism isn't the most important thing, but at the same time, it is a slow process. It is the Matt McNeil Show.
Crooners is a classic supper club with a wide range of entertainment. Make your reservations for a parade of international, national, and local artists in the main stage showroom, the intimate Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the seasonal Belvedere Under the Stars space. Or enjoy Maggie's Piano Lounge. Enjoy 4-star food and drinks with first-class supper club service. What are you waiting for? Go to croonersmn.com for more information and schedule. That's croonersmn.com.
Blue Man Group's North American Tour is coming to the State Theater February 13th through 15th. Dive into the thrilling Blue Man Group experience, a blend of captivating music, interactive art, and audience engagement. Blue Man Group creates a fun, disruptive, and out-of-the-ordinary atmosphere that exhilarates the senses and uplifts spirits for audiences of all ages. Tickets are on sale now at hennepinarts.org.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been telling you about my friends at Snap Construction, who are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior construction company in the metro. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at all their reviews online. Winter is the most cost-effective time of the year to complete your construction project. A majority of Minnesotans choose to have their work completed on their home in the summer when they should be enjoying the weather. As a result, the demand for labor in the summer is much higher. The most cost-effective way to improve or restore your home is in the winter due to the lower demand. Right now, Snap Construction is offering an additional 30% off of labor to the AM 950 listeners on your next construction project between now and the end of February. Call 612-333-SNAP and mention AM 950 for an additional 30% off. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. And by the way, the question here comes in, what do you do with these Republicans as they start to wake up? Because they're going to, well, I never knew that. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be, I'm glad they're waking up, but I'm not going to allow them to forget what they did. They embraced racism because there's, we already know that the Trump name is going to be on the Kennedy Center and all these things. And then all of a sudden when he's gone and the opportunists at the top all of a sudden realize they have no leader anymore and the bullies scramble back to their compounds in Montana and the rest of the Republican Party starts as like, oh, well, I guess maybe my racism wasn't the most important thing. There's going to be a lot of Trump names and statues. Don't get me wrong, there'll be places like South Dakota where they're like, I don't care how many children he raped, he's still a hero to me. And you're like, really? Okay, fine. Ugh, yikes. But there's a lot of people that are going to have to explain to themselves, okay, why did I choose to ignore all this stuff? Oh, it was because, I was convinced my racism was something noble and righteous. And now that you're seeing what your racism has brought upon this country, you're realizing it's not. But I'm not going to allow you. You all voted for a guy who was racist red flag after racist red flag after racist dog whistle after racist dog whistle. So no, I'm not going to give you a pass and let you just sort of say, well, I was deceived as anyone else. No, you were either a coward and you just didn't have, because there are Republicans who have walked away from this and said no. So you were either a coward or you just came to the realization that you're not as racist as they are. But you still are, you were somewhat racist because that's how you went with this. I can't even understand farm country in this country. You all had undocumented workers working for you. You've watched him in his first term annihilate your markets. And you welcome back with a hearty looking for thirds because you all voted for him back in 2020, even though he lost then. You voted for him again, and now all of a sudden you all are just effed across the board. And yet 22% of them will, because for 22% of this country, the racism is the most important thing. The ones who will sit there and even when we know the truth about Trump with Epstein, and there's undeniable truth on that, and we look back on his dictator role, we look back on his war against the American people, his disastrous economy, they'll still look and wipe a tear away every time they see a Trump statue, because for them, nothing else mattered. They could be eating dirt. They could be living out in the fields themselves with nothing over their head, have nothing to their name. But the racism was the most important thing. So don't even bother trying to convince those people. The ones that sit there and say Trump is the greatest, well, they're a waste of time. They're a waste of time. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. I love this headline today. Speaking of, I've talked about the markets. I said the only two things holding the markets up right now are Bitcoin and this AI bubble. This headline just, Bitcoin drops below 67,000 as sell-off intensifies and pessimism grows about crypto's function. Crypto's function. You mean the investment that is basically influenced on whether or not you throw a sex toy onto a WNBA basketball court? That solid foundation of fiscal responsibility? I mean, yesterday they were all freaking out because it was going to get down to 72,000. It lost $5,000. But when this thing collapses, and it will, there is the amount of douchey frat bros are about to, dude, man, that was my entire inheritance. Great. Because they're going to take it all from you. It's going to be in some Russian oligarch's bank account. Probably in Saudi Arabia, just FYI. Finally, I did one story here that we haven't talked a lot about, but yeah, we need to start, is that, in case you're not aware, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an absolute idiot. And he, Brainworm McGee, as I referred to him, Brainworm McGee doesn't, I still think he thinks that you can cure measles by rubbing dirt all over your body. I'm pretty sure that's not going to work, but that's what he says. He'll have a tonic that's out for you, sir. We could just get vaccinated because that worked like a charm for 100 years, but no. South Carolina has become the epicenter of this problem. Children who have contracted cases of measles in recent months have also been affected by a worrying and sometimes deadly complication, the state's epidemiologist has said on Wednesday. This means kids have died because of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s measles thing. It's unknown how many children have encephalitis, but Dr. Linda Bell told reporters that anytime people develop the known complication from measles, which is encephalitis, there could be a long-term consequences, things like developmental delay and impacts on the neurological system that can be irreversible. The majority of the state's 876 cases are in children, including 233 under the age of 5, 555 between the ages of 5 and 17, according to data from the South Carolina Department of Public Health released on Tuesday. Measles is out of freaking control in South Carolina. Why? Because of the Department of Health and Human Services. Because of Brainworm McGee. Because I want you to think about this. This is just this state. I mean, there are outbreaks across the country right now. And at no point have you heard, I think we should get back to the vaccinations. The things that worked for 100 years. Nope, nothing. What everybody needs to do is go down to their local beach and find a whale carcass. What? What are you talking about? Now here's Dr. Oz with his snake oil, which is actually oil from a snake. I don't know how he got it, but it's... Anyway, he insists if you drink it, not only will it give you big manhood, make you strong, ladies like you, but it will cure measles. So off you go. Yeah. They will kill us all. Remember I said opportunists? Ta-da! End scene. All right. Chicago, Seattle. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bam! Minneapolis, St. Paul, hour 2 up next.
AM 950 would like to thank everyone who joined and donated during our winter membership drive. Your support shows that Minnesotans still value an independent progressive radio station that delivers facts, not spin. AM 950 is locally owned, based right here in the Twin Cities, and dedicated to uplifting small businesses and diverse communities. At a time when some voices are being pushed aside, AM 950 refuses to be silenced. Please help keep progressive radio on the air. Visit am950radio.com and donate today.
Are you planning a gathering for your family, friends, or work? Then reserve space at the Park Tavern. The Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces, and they can accommodate any size party, large or small. They have bowling, food, and beverage packages for any budget. And remember, there are no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. And for more information or to schedule an event, call 952-929-6810 or go to parktavern.net. Make your next get-together the best get-together with help from the Park Tavern.
It's Brad Friedman, your friendly investigative blogger, journalist, and host of the Bradcast on AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The last remaining nuclear arms pact between Russia and the United States has expired. The Kremlin says it regrets that, but President Trump's against keeping the New START treaties. And White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says,
the president wants to have our nuclear experts work on a new, improved, and modernized treaty that can last long into the future. And that's what the United States will continue to discuss with the Russians.
The U.S. and Russia have agreed to reestablish high-level military-to-military dialogue for the first time in more than 4 years. That as talks between American, Russian, and Ukrainian officials on ending the war in Ukraine entered its second day. In other news, Ed Donahue reports,
authorities in Arizona are looking for leads in the search for the 84-year-old mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie.
We believe Nancy is still out there. We want her home.
Sheriff Chris Nano says DNA tests showed blood found on Nancy Guthrie's porch came back as a match to her. Authorities think she may have been taken from her home in Tucson against her will over the weekend. As for who may have done this,
at this time, we have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case.
The FBI's Heath Janke says there is a ransom note, but it was not sent to the Guthrie family.
A letter that was sent to the local media and then to national outlets.
He says the note included a demand for money and a deadline.
This is an 84-year-old grandma that needs vital medication for her well-being. You still have the time to do the right thing before this becomes a worse, much worse scenario for you.
Janke says any ransom decisions are up to the Guthrie family. I'm Ed Donahue.
Falling tech stocks, a plunge for Bitcoin, and discouraging jobs news hit Wall Street hard today. The Dow and the S&P each fell 1.2%. While the NASDAQ lost 1.6%. Bitcoin briefly fell below $64,000, roughly half its record price set in the fall. This is AP News.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify. I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity in styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly sunny skies today with a high near 38, tonight cloudy with a low around 31, and Friday sunny with a temp falling to 25. Go.Go or Vey Perove opens this week at Children's Theater Company. Get tickets today for this joyful bilingual musical where delightful dogs drive, swim, play baseball, and race to the big dog party. Get tickets today at childrenstheater.org. That's childrenstheater.org.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here. Broadcasting on the Blue Amp Media Network at blueamp.co on Substack. That's blueamp.co on Substack, as well as YouTube. 700,000 people or so there. Hi, guys. Nice to be with you today. And, of course, here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Nice to be around today. Coming up here in a little bit, I wanted to make sure that we mentioned we're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to go to the Blue Man Group. Now, they are going to be over at the State Theater February 13th through the 15th. That's next Friday through Sunday. Doing a few days of the shows out there. I got a pair of tickets for either the Friday night or the Saturday 1 p.m. show. We'll give those away a little bit later on, but yeah, you can go see Blue Man Group. How cool is that? 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Michael Thalheimer is with All Energy Solar. He is kind enough today to join us. We've had him on a few times because, in case you don't know, it's a little chaotic when it comes to certain things here, and kind of keep track of how things are going. And indeed, when we're looking at especially rebates on solar and how it's being affected and how the current administration is undoing some of these things, you need to have somebody that understands the ins and outs of the stuff that can help you out. And once again, I will say this, a lot of this is a state-by-state issue because some states are working hard to maintain solar advantages. Other states are not. You need to make sure you find out the information you can. And one way you can do that is through, if you are in Twin Cities metro area, All Energy Solar is going to be having a little bit of a shindig coming up here. They're hosting a lunch and learn on Friday, the 13th at 12 p.m. And Michael's enough to talk about that as well as some of these other things. Hi, Michael. How are we?
Hi, Matt. Good to see you. Thanks for having me. I know you always got your finger on the pulse of chaos, so thank you for including me in your circles.
Oh, that's my pleasure, man. It's great. I have to admit, for you, though, I just have to read the news and kind of be snarky about it. You have a lot of more weighing on your shoulders here because, once again, this war against renewable energy that's been going on, it's creating a bit of a tougher landscape for some people to be able to navigate to make sure they can find out the best ways to take advantage of it, especially since I think most people still do want to do renewable energies.
Yeah, it is. And so it's kind of been a soup for the last year as the new administration's coming into power and take some really swift steps to try and undo a lot of the legislative action that was done in the prior administration that was aimed at bolstering more renewable, clean, advanced technology and starting to tamp down some of the more antiquated fossil fuel driven energy that has kind of ruled the day for prior decades. But there's still some great opportunity out there. And I think really what people just need who still have an interest in this is to reach out and, allow a group that's experienced in this space to guide them a little bit. My focus at our company is on the commercial and the industrial side of our work. There's quite a few doors that are still open in that space, and that's why we're really anxious to continue those conversations here into the new year.
And again, I'll put the ball on the tee for you here right now because definitively you can say if you are a business, solar energy will save you money in the long run, and it's the most responsible way to get energy for your house, right? Or for your business, right?
Yeah, for any property, if you're going to run even a simple analysis of what it costs to power your building, let's just say generically your building, for the next 5, 10, 20 years, there is no doubt that if you can produce your own energy and reduce some of the inbound energy that you rely on from your utility, you're going to save long term. And in certain cases, you can save right away, and that's still available for a lot of customers out there. But the policy shift has thrown a lot of doubt and confusion into the market, and that's where you kind of need some trusted colleagues to lean on and help guide your way.
Well, and it's the stability of it too, isn't it? I mean, oil prices still fluctuate, but once you put solar on, you're kind of working at a set rate there, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of refer to it as a levelized cost of energy. So you're going to make a set investment in a system that's going to produce a portion, at least, if not all of your energy needs over time. And you're locking in your cost for that power that's going to be produced for that extended duration with one fixed amount. If you continue the kind of the way of the world for most and pay your retail rate of energy as delivered by your utility, you can do that. And we're fortunate to be in a first world where that's generally reliable. However, you are not able to avoid the pretty significant rate increases that we're all experiencing now. And whether you have a small home or a big home, or a small business or a big business, if you pay any attention to what it costs to power what you're doing inside your four walls, you know that the increases have been significant, and there is zero sign of that changing in the future. So, we spend a lot of time talking with people about how you can, in fact, take control over that with a solution like solar energy, with a solution like adding battery storage to your property. And that's going to save you hand over fist long term, and that's perking up a lot of ears to people who maybe didn't consider this before.
A little bit of a preview for your event you're going to be having next Friday here. One of the things we should say is for a commercial business. I imagine there's people with, okay, yeah, this sounds fine for a smaller company, but I'm a huge company. But then on the other side of it, there's some people who's like, well, yeah, sure, for a larger company, it works, but I'm a small little, I got a 10-person business. This is really something, no matter what the size of the company, there's an opportunity that you can each take advantage of this and don't be shy about it, because this is the way to, like you said, a levelized energy cost.
Everybody pays a utility bill, generally speaking, that has brick and mortar in this day and age. And so, whether you're powering 1, 5, 10% of your facility's needs, or 80, 90, or 100% of your facility's needs, that's a step towards paying less long-term than you would otherwise. We will help people at All Energy Solar that have small independent operations, coffee shops, pet clinics, veterinarians, restaurants. Doesn't really matter what's going on inside the property if you've got a good landscape for solar energy on the property. But surely we also serve large consumers as well, and you can do more impactful systems and projects with those larger footprints. But the benefit really scales exponentially as your project goes. So the small business owner can realize, feel, and experience and appreciate the benefit of a smaller solar project just as much as a larger operator can with a larger system we customize to suit.
I for a while there, I was at Iowa State University. I worked for the flagship station for the Cyclone radio network down there. Yeah. And one of the fun things I got to see was the solar car team. And these guys were smart. I mean, they're already, I was like, okay, I feel like an idiot, because they were building cars that could go across the desert fairly efficiently. And one of the guys said, he said, all this stuff will be applicable. And this is back in, before 2000. He said, all this stuff will be applicable and usable. Let's talk a little bit about that, because there has been, maybe not necessarily here in this country, but I mean, there have been major developments which becomes industry standards, which really kind of maximize the power you can get from these cells. I mean, the engineering and the technology that's available is pretty incredible.
Yeah, when we talk to people who ask, why is this relevant today when I feel like everything evolves so quickly and we could have new advancements that might render this to be not as effective or efficient in the future? But the actual fact remains that solar technology, the way in which the technology, the equipment collects sun, transmits it through a system, creates energy that can then be used, that process has been around for many decades, back to the middle of the last century. But by all means, there are efficiencies gained every year, just like most of your electronics that you see in the trade and other sources of energy. We're able to squeeze more juice out of the lemon every year with what we're providing and producing. There's also more applications for ways that we can adapt solar technology to facilities than we had access to 10, 20 years ago. So there's evolution there. But when it comes down to it, the functionality of the system is the way that it has always been. And the method is produce as much as you can so you aren't reliant upon your utility or any other outside source of giving you everything that you need forever. And that translates into more control over your energy use, cleaner energy by all means, but also, reduce cost to operate what you're doing every day.
Well, and then there also is the other point of that coin is like, if you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, the reality is you're still spending more and more and more money. You're still hooked into the oil drums. You're not looking at the way you can maximize your costs. And that is I always look at it as it's a red herring of an argument, because what you're getting is basically you're choosing to pay more because of the hope that something might come down the line, when right now they can take advantage of a lot of great systems out there, which are far more efficient than they ever used to be, are far more reliable, will be with them forever, and they can start saving the money now. As much as people want to say this is bad, this is why you jump on it now, is because don't think about what could happen in the future. I mean, it could be robots and spaceships. I don't want to know what that is, but the reality is what we've got right now is an amazing product that you can get out there and you can really actually cut the costs and make a cleaner environment, which is at the end of the day one of the best things about it.
We spend a lot of time with customers through just the process of identifying what's the right solution for them. If it's a business owner, working with their organization to see what type of project can be the right fit. I can't tell you how many times we've finally ended up moving forward with a project with someone who we've been engaged with for maybe even multiple years. And unquestionably, one of the first things they always say is, I wish we had just jumped and done this a few years earlier. It doesn't make what we're doing today less valuable, but we could have alleviated some of the cost pressure pain that we've experienced through all the other ebbs and flows of the market and society if we had made this decision sooner. Historically, we've always said, we'll be here in the future and you can come to us anytime you like, and you will hope and expect to be able to give you a great package whenever you're ready. And I still think that's the case. However, because of the new administration and some of the policy shift that's about to take place and we're currently in the process of experiencing, some of the significant incentives that have really steamrolled the returns on these projects are going to be sunsetting a lot earlier than they were supposed to. So there is a bit more urgency in terms of kind of time of the essence right now, especially for business owners, where a lot of these incentives are still on the table, because in a couple short years, they won't be anymore. And we're going to be in a very different dynamic, marketplace wise at that point. But the going is good currently. And that's why we're excited to be talking with as many people as we are.
And I should mention once again too, is that there's this issue where you're looking at the individual states have some other rules that apply. Michael, you are obviously Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, and I'm presuming Wisconsin, because we get into the eastern side of the metro is in Wisconsin. So, if people have questions about Wisconsin, Minnesota specifically, they definitely can get in touch with you, right?
Absolutely. Our company is headquartered here in the Twin Cities. We do have offices and support personnel in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Massachusetts. So we happen to be kind of Midwest and New England focused organization, but we do have a lot of corporate customers that are maybe based regionally where we're close by, but they might have national facilities. So we have installed projects all over the country, even a few projects outside of the US, but working directly with clients that we have an established relationship with. Certainly our backyard is Minnesota and Wisconsin. Those are our two initial states when we opened our doors 16 years ago. They're still the states that lead the way and most of our activity and solar execution. But our discussion point doesn't stop there. If someone says, I appreciate you talking to me about this project in St. Cloud, but is there any chance we could look at something in St. Louis? Is there any chance we could look at something in Tampa, Florida? For us, with our organization's scale and capabilities, the answer to that is yes. We just want to get connected, ideally, to someone who's close enough by that we can have that good working relationship here in the region.
So basically, anyone right now who's listening on the Blue Ant Media Network or podcasting this, you can get in touch with All Energy Solar as well and have questions. There is no such thing as a dumb question. But if you're local, once again, what are the details of next Friday's event here?
Yeah, thanks for that, Matt. So we're going to have just a lunch and learn. We have been holding these meetings somewhat regularly here, and we like to do so at our headquarter office in St. Paul. So if you go online to our website, allenergysolar.com/lunch, you'll find the registration and information about the event. We're opening our doors at noon next Friday, February 13th. We've got it slated for about a 90-minute visit, if you want to call it that. So if you're registered, come right into our main office. We'll have the meeting room set up. We're going to have lunch provided. we'll spend probably about 45 to 60 minutes with my team and I kind of reviewing some of the latest updates on solar policy, in particularly focused on the commercial and industrial space. So we're working with business owners and property owners, commercial property owners predominantly for that session. It's a great opportunity for Q&A. We've done this in the past, and that becomes maybe half the meeting because there's just a lot of things that people are hearing and they don't always have somebody right there in the room to answer those questions. So we love to do that. And then also just get a look around. You get a chance to see our facility here. It's our central warehouse. The majority of our office and field-based staff report out of the Twin Cities. And so you kind of get to see the heartbeat of our company and the organization that's behind the work, which I think gives people a lot of confidence when they want to decide who they want to work with if they're going to pursue a project like this.
All right, allenergysolar.com/lunch. Get registered. You need to be registered for the next event, which is next Friday, the 13th at noon. Allenergysolar.com/lunch. But if you can't make that, just get in touch with All Energy Solar. And no matter where you're at in the country, get in touch with these guys. They can help you out, especially, and talk to Michael if you got a commercial building and you've got questions about this, because he's right. A lot of this stuff does sunset. And so if you're thinking about it, do not wait for the future. You want to take advantage of this now at allenergysolar.com. Michael Thalheimer, thank you very much. I appreciate the time as always. I appreciate you giving us updated on this. And by all means, let's have you back again as this stuff even changes more so we can get more information about this. Okay.
You bet. Thank you, Matt. Yep. It's going to be a wild year, but we're ready for it and we're excited to talk with people. So thanks for giving us a little bit of time and hope to see anybody who's out there listening come visit us next Friday.
I'll make sure I post it up on the socials as well so people can find the link right there to get to All Energy Solar. Michael Thalheimer, thank you very much. Let's take a break. Come on back. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Thursday.
Thanks, Matt.
Tender.
Oh, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together.
Blue Man Group's North American Tour is coming to the State Theater February 13th through 15th. Dive into the thrilling Blue Man Group experience, a blend of captivating music, interactive art, and audience engagement. Blue Man Group creates a fun, disruptive, and out-of-the-ordinary atmosphere that exhilarates the senses and uplifts spirits for audiences of all ages. Tickets are on sale now at hennepinarts.org.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota delivers critical home repairs and safety modifications to low-income Minnesotans because everyone deserves a safe place to live, not just those who can afford it. If you've been putting off repairs because the cost feels impossible, know this. Their services come at no cost to homeowners. They focus on safe and healthy home solutions that keep older adults independent, support families, and strengthen entire neighborhoods. And there's no catch. Apply during their application window, open January 1st through March 31st, 2026, to be considered for services. When one neighbor struggles, it impacts us all. Turn to Rebuilding Together Minnesota if you need support with critical repairs or safety modifications on your home. Apply now at rtmn.org and select Apply for help. Or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and the rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205. Reminder, I got some Blue Man Group tickets to give away a little bit here. Brett, it is you and I have obviously been dealing with the view from the seventh circle of hell here for the last few weeks, but we do have one or two other things that still go on that we do need to pay attention to. We do have our 30 finalists for the Name the Snowplow competition for this year. All righty.
Oh, how many of them are anti-ice?
Oh, God. Well, no, they wouldn't. They don't have the – if they had the guts to do that. No, this is MnDOT. The Minnesota Department of Transportation has winnowed its thousands of submissions to Name the Snowplow contest here in Minnesota. Finalists for the 2025-2026 MnDOT Name the Snowplow contest are – now, are you ready? And we'll go through them, and then we'll dissect which ones – we think are definitely going to be there. All right. So here you go. I'll just run them, and it's alphabetical, starting with numbers. 867530 Brine. AI Arctic Intelligence. Below Zero Hero. Bob Chillin. Taking off on Bob Dylan there. See how they okay. Don't Flurry, Be Happy. Every Day I'm Shoveling. Feeling Salty, Flurious George, Here We Snow Again, I Got Friends in Snow Places, John Bon Snowy, oh, come on, Just Scraping By, K-Pop Blizzard Hunter, Kaplow, Lake Snowbegon, oh, God, talk about dated references. I mean, did you get this from the crowd at the Melania movie? LL Cool Blade, Mini Snowta, Mission Impassable, Mr. Plow. It's on the damn thing again, man.
It's always going to be on there till someone picks it.
Nice cutting edge reference from the first season of The Simpsons.
Like we're getting all the very dated references on a lot of these names.
Mr. Plow, and I'm going to go see the Melania movie. Whee! Oh, brother, where art Plow? Oh, for Sleet's sake.
Well, the Oh Brother one's not exactly a current reference either.
None of these. We'll get to this here. Oh, for Sleet's sake. Plowing in the wind. Salt shaker. Say it ain't snow. Six sledding, which is a takeoff on 6-7. There you go. You see there, which will get grown from every child who hears that. Sled Zeppelin, The Life of a Snow Girl, The North Plow, Walter Whiteout, and Whiteout Warrior. Now, of that slog, was there anyone's there that you just? I can already tell you, I've already pegged 3 of them, which I'm going to be shocked if they don't get in there and they win. Out of the 9 plows they name, I already know 3 of the winners are going to be. But is there any that came to your mind that you were like?
I got to be honest, this is all pretty underwhelming to me with a lot of these names. I don't think we got any winners.
Betty Whiteout was great. That was gold. But you're not. It's going down there. Walter Whiteout is going to be pretty good. I give him credit to putting Walter White out there because when I'm going behind a snowplow, I think of, drug dealers. I will also Life of a Snow Girl. There's going to be a lot of 13-year-old kids calling in for that one. But the one I think that, it does give you a good modern day pop culture and it's there. K-pop Blizzard Hunter is going to, I cannot see that not winning. Getting some of that K-pop Blizzard Hunter.
Not saying I like it, but I'm with you on that one. Probably going to be a winner.
Six Sledding is going to get there too, because kids. This is I have to imagine. I don't know how many F ice they had put in there, but would you really have been that bad to put F ice out there as a plow name? Because that would have won. And everyone would have said, man, that is gutsy.
I would hope they'd send that plow too to the whatever the most rural red district.
We're going up to Minnesota 7, up in the very northwestern part of the state, up by North Dakota. Oh, God. Yeah, so, you got to stop with Mr. Plow. And, I mean, that's just weak. It's weak sauce. Mission Impassable. That's not bad. Yeah, but a lot of these are just dated references. I mean, I think we could do better. I mean, it depends on how much leeway they would be willing to give me. I mean, do I have to Lizzo? What didn't we have one with Lizzo one year?
I think we did.
Yeah, Lizzo. It was Blizzo. That's right. They call her Blizzo. Blizzo did win, if I'm not mistaken, one year. So, yeah, I'm with you. So okay. The K-pop Blizzard Hunter, Life of a Snow Girl, and Walter Whiteout. Those all should be in there. The rest of it, I don't know. But if you're going to just say this, if it's the metro area plow, make sure it's one of the better names. Don't give us Mr. Or maybe they just give us Mr. Plow just to get that damn thing off the list. How many years has it been there?
It's got to be like the Baseball Hall of Fame, where after a certain number of years, if you don't get on, you're not eligible anymore.
Six sledding. Yeah, that's going to get there too. I can already see this.
Oh, you think? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that either.
It's a weak, folks out there, for all the people on the Blue Amp Media Network. Usually this is top-notch quality. We're used to a better quality of this. I have to imagine the reason why we've got this is because there were so many. It's like, I want ice out of my blanking state, and they're like, well, we can't make it political. Couldn't you? I think you could have, but fine. We'll take the Melania matinee on a Sunday lineup here. Hey, remember when we had snow and we ate it for dinner? Oh, great there, Grandpa. Thanks, Elwin. If there are any younger people named Elwin out there, I do apologize. That's on me. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Back to more important things when we do return. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Thursday.
Get ready to zoom into a world full of color, música, and alegría at Children's Theater Company. Go Da Go, Ve Pero Ve is a bilingual musical bursting with playful, high-speed energy as dogs drive, swim, and race to the big dog party. This joyful espectáculo blends English y Espanol with expressive physical storytelling. Go Da Go is sure to have you laughing, moving, and howling with delight. On stage January 20th through February 22nd. Tickets at childrenstheater.org.
Hey, Francois, have you made any New Year's resolutions?
Non.
Well, mine is to learn some French. Can you help me?
Bien sûr.
How do you say this? Can I buy you?
Est-ce que je peux t'acheter
Macaroons from Nicolette's.
des macarons de Nicolette?
Now, say it all at once.
Est-ce que je peux t'acheter des macarons de Nicolette?
Oh, absolutely. I'll have a box of raspberry rose, blueberry cheesecake, and chocolate.
Mais c'est quoi ça?
Thank you, Francois. You can order them online at nicoletsmacaroons.com or visit their store in Plymouth. Merci.
Hey, this is Andy Otto, Executive Director of Twin Cities Pride and your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. Our community needs your help. Twin Cities Pride is collecting donations to help our local community in need. We're collecting everything from shelf-stable food to household cleaning supplies, infant care items, and personal care products at our Pride Cultural Arts Center. If you're looking to help, reach out to us at info@tcpride.org or just stop by 1201 Harmon Place in Minneapolis. It's our time to take care of our community and take care of each other all year long.
At Schroman Law, we provide more than just legal documents. We walk alongside our clients to ensure their wishes and legacies are being honored with every choice. And we do this while recognizing that this process can be emotional and weighty. Our team includes attorneys, as well as a grief coach and a published writer ready to assist with legacy letters and extra wishes to go alongside your healthcare directive. Contact us today to learn more at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
I am the amazing Cassandra, a mechanical fortune teller who can predict the exact date and time of your passing. But 5 teenagers have died, and I alone have the power to save them if they can pass My Test of Song. Their musical trials begin January 16th at Lyric Arts Theater in Anoka. Ride the cyclone along with them at lyricarts.org.
Uncover the rich history of Minnesota through Whoosh, a lively and deeply moving ghost tale. Solo artist Andrew Erskine Wheeler masterfully brings to life a range of characters, intertwining the rich history of St. Anthony Falls in the post-Civil War era with the story of its Irish heritage. This award-winning show weaves a hauntingly local and unforgettable ghost story through compelling song and storytelling. The History Theater's Whoosh plays January 29th through February 22nd. Find tickets at historytheater.com. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 31. Friday, partly sunny with a temp falling to 26. And Saturday, sunny with a high near 30. Discover perfection at Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville. From Philly steak to crispy chicken, every bite is exceptional. Add freshly fried fries or rings for a winning combo. Visit mavericksbeef.com or find them off Lexington and Roseville. Unforgettable sandwiches. Maverick's Real Roast Beef. AM 950 KTNF St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, yes. Let's give away some tickets right now. The Blue Man Group is coming into the Historic State Theater in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Here, Minneapolis. They're still going to be at the State Theater on Friday, the February 13th through the 15th. Got multiple shows over there. Go find your tickets if you like, but I can get you a pair of tickets. Now, this ticket is either for the Friday night showing or the 1 o'clock showing on Saturday. So if you can only, it's only for people that can do one of those two showings, okay? So the Friday night showing or the 1 o'clock showing on Saturday, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Caller number 5 will give you a pair of tickets to go see the Blue Man Group as they are on tour at the Historic State Theater next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Good luck. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Remember, I was just talking about the insane man that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And just, how he is speaking to a crowd in Tennessee as part of the nationwide tour to get Americans to eat healthier when he claimed scientists at Harvard had cured schizophrenia by using the keto diet. He also claimed the food Americans eat is driving mental illness in this country, a claim that experts have said ignores environmental and social factors. Oh, by the way, that whole thing about schizophrenia and the keto diet, no, that's not what they did at all. So, yeah, he just matches what I want to believe. Now, give me a bear I can go dump into a park. Why are you questioning my judgment at all? Sweet Lord. And by the way, hey, anytime Cato Boy there wants to get on to South Carolina and deal with the absolute disgusting amount of measles cases down there, be my guest. That's not important? Okay. Watching people die in this country of preventable diseases as he goes out there and talks about, you don't need vaccines. Now just ignore the body bags. God. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. So a few updates about things here in Minneapolis because it is not better. I mean, I will say that polling numbers I put out last hour where I was talking about how, 60% of the country wants ice out of Minneapolis at this point. I don't think that's going to be turning around anytime soon. Local Veterans for Peace chapter is holding a vigil for Alex Preddy tomorrow at noon at his memorial near Nicollet Avenue in East 26th Street. I was out there. I posted some pictures of the memorial. I was out there last Saturday night. A very emotional place. I encourage you to, if you are in the town, to go over there and pay your respects. They're going to be, once again, the Veterans for Peace are going to have a memorial over there at noon tomorrow. Minnesota Chapter 27 of Veterans for Peace has decided it's time for we veterans to speak out and offer our thanks and gratitude to Alex Preddy, not only for his life, but for his work and sacrifice on behalf of the Minneapolis VA Medical Center, said membership chair Barry Reich. We also want to express our commitment to him that we will continue to do all we can to make sure justice is served for him and Renee Nicole Good, that the perpetrators of their murders be arrested and brought to trial. Amen to that. As a veteran who also believes in peace, amen to that. Yesterday, I brought up Jake Lang. This is the conservative guy, the January 6th insurrectionist. who has been pardoned, and seems like his job is to come into town and be a douche. And that seems to, and I mean, remember I was talking about the hierarchy of the Republican Party. You know, you have the Trump and the opportunists at the top, and then you have the bully level. And this guy clearly is part of that bully level, but it's embraced by the people that like to bully people. He is in Minnesota this time. He says he has permission to hold his rally inside the state capitol. Now, Lang posted that we have officially secured a permit for the rotunda. State officials have confirmed that no such permit actually has been granted. A spokesperson has said Lang was not denied, but the space for the date and the time on February 7th, where he wants to do this, that is on Saturday? Yeah, that's Saturday. It already has been reserved by another party. A review of the Capitol's public calendar shows indeed there's other events already scheduled for that day, not the Jake Lang and his little band of fools there. This announcement of this return comes weeks after a small anti-Islam rally led by Lang and a large group of counter-protesters clashed. The 140-acre Capitol complex is open to the public and hosts thousands of visitors, but hosting any sort of event requires an approval beforehand, according to the Department of Administration, stating with the permit application being filled out at least 7 days in advance, which I'm no math whiz, but if today is the 5th and you want to host this on the 7th, well, that's not there. I got actually a theory on this. I'll come back to that in a second. And by the way, it must include the type of event and expected number of participants. For final approval, applicants must have such things as a traffic plan and security safety plans. These guys don't seem like the guys that have that kind of plan in place. Still, there are many reasons why an application could be denied, including if an event could interrupt the safe and orderly movement of other traffic, or if the event would require significant security presence to property police the line of movement. Security has been top of mind in people's sense, of course, the murder of Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband by a right-wing psychopath in June of last year, and of course the shooting of Senator Hoffman and his wife Yvette. It states clearly that under the Minnesota administrative rules, no public rally at the Capitol complex should be undertaken unless a permit has been obtained as required in its chapter. Any person violating this chapter or application, state and local law may be subject to prosecution under applicable law. Minnesota State Patrol, by the way, is responsible for the safety and security of the Capitol. A spokesperson from them said he are aware and it will be staffed appropriately. Now, my guess is Jake might have gotten somebody from the inside, namely a Minnesota House or Senate Republican, who said, you don't need a permit. You come on down here. Come on down here on the 7th. You'll be just fine. I'll talk to the guys at the front desk. And so, yeah, I would say that is my guess is what has happened is he's working probably with Republicans in the Minnesota House or the Minnesota Senate, and they've already told him this is fine. What I will say is this. Hey, it's a public rotunda, isn't it? We just said it's a public place. And if you're having an event, you have to get a permit. But if I don't know, a few hundred or 1,000 people wanted to show up and just go look at the fine structural quality integrity of the Minnesota State Capitol, I don't know, on Saturday, that might be a great idea. It is it's a publicly open space. Treat it with respect, for goodness sakes. And if you do want to have an event, you need to get a permit. But just in case, it is. Have you seen the structural design of that building? It is absolutely a beautiful building. A perfect Saturday event for any, I don't know, person who's pissed off at the fact that ICE came in here and has attacked our city. I don't know. I mean, if you're looking to cool down, you can at least kind of get a little civics lesson by how pretty the building can be. Lots of limestone, marble, a few statues in there, a lot of good paintings. Just don't by. Be respectful. Make a nice little visit. And in case someone else has an event there, you can be a witness to it. Just saying. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Just a suggestion. But you need to get that permit there. But my guess is it's once again, it's all for show. I'm going to guess there. So why would people be upset? I don't know. Time magazine basically has Minneapolis on the front page of it. The siege of an American city. Yeah. Jackasses. Trump and all of them just jackasses. All the Minnesota Republican Party. The Minnesota Republican Party did this. The Minnesota Republican Party put into motion the things that got Alex Preddy and Renee Good killed. All of you. It's a very straightforward antidote, and that is to leave. Fry told the magazine, he basically is telling the interview they do with Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, he says that ICE should just leave. They leave, those businesses have customers again, they leave, and fear is reduced on the street. But of course, this is not about safety. This is not about immigration. This is political narrative they're trying to concoct. 100%. Trump did chime in yesterday. He hates that federal immigration officers killed Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. He also is saying the slain anti-ICE protesters weren't angels, while lamenting that his administration is getting bad publicity over 2 people out of tens of thousands. Okay. Good was fatally shot by ICE agents on January 7th. Preddy was killed by Customs and Border Patrol on January 24th. We have 2 incidents. The 2 primary incidents in Minnesota, Trump said in an interview with NBC News, you do thousands of arrests. You arrest thousands of rapists. You arrest thousands of the worst people. You arrest the drug dealers. I mean, we had drug kidnappers who were murdered. Thousands. By the way, and we'll come back to that in a second. Thousands. No incidents. We bring them back to their country. 2 people. It's bad. I hate it. I hate even talking about it. 2 people out of tens of thousands. You get, you got to crack a few eggs. You're making some omelets. That's what you're doing. Nobody talks about the murders that were taken out of the country. White House border czar. Just by the way, what a freaking moron. And he is, I don't know what's going faster, his mind or control over his bowels, because almost every day now there seems to be a moment where there's a sound, a gurgling down below, and all of a sudden the White House staff is frantically trying to get the press corps out of the room. So just saying. Depends on who you're talking to. Anyway, never mind. I'm sorry. White House border czar Tom Homan talked about murderers captured in Minnesota during Operation Metro Surge on Wednesday morning. We've arrested 14 people who have had homicide convictions, Homan said, 139 assault convictions, 87 sex offenses, 28 gang members have been arrested, just to name a few. We're taking a lot of bad people off the street. If you notice on the camera, I'm starting to stroke the old chin as I'm thinking about this. This next paragraph, I think, might play a bit of a role. The Department of Homeland Security has announced that Wednesday, his officers have arrested more than 4,000 people. 4,000 people in Minnesota. Violent criminals. That's because isn't that who they said they said that's who they're going after, is all the violent criminals. But what's interesting is they gave us some numbers here of the violent criminals. Holman actually said, well, let me go through this here. 14, which is the homicide convictions. Violent person, I don't think anyone's upset about that person gone. All right, 14 plus 139 assault convictions. All right, plus 87 sex offenders. I don't think anyone's upset that they're gone. Plus 28 gang members. All right, and that's what they have said is the violent criminals. Those are the violent criminals. They said everyone who's arrested is violent criminal, because that doesn't equal 4,000. That equals 268. And because I took some math classes, if you divide that by 4,000, that means a total whopping 6%. 6% of all the people you arrested fall under your category of violent criminal. Who the hell are the other 94% of the people that you have arrested? Because they're not the violent criminals. Tom Holman told us all about the violent criminals. That was 6% of them. Who are the other? Oh, that's right. Those are not the violent criminals. Those are innocent people who, many of them are here legally, who haven't broken any laws. that are actually going through the right process to try to get there, but just happen to be black or brown skinned. That's who 94% of these people are. Once again, I'm just using their math. Trump says thousands of people. Holman corrects it. Actually, no, it is 268 people, not thousands. But they have arrested 4,000 people, which means 94% of the people that they have arrested are not violent criminals. Guilty by pigment. That is what's going on. And by the way, and the other thing, and I posted this morning on the socials, the new tactic to just take these people, take away all their documentation, take away their phone, take away everything, fly them down to Texas, and then just release them onto the streets of Texas because they didn't have justifiable reason to arrest them in the first place because they don't have a warrant to arrest these people. I can't tell you how many people from Minneapolis have found themselves roaming the streets of Texas, not knowing anyone down there, not having a dime on them, not having any ID on them, not having a phone on them, and being told, good luck getting back to Minnesota. The good news is there apparently are a lot of people down there who are waiting for people to come on out to try to get them back home. And God bless them. That is just wonderful. I'm glad you guys are out there trying to help these people out because, yeah. But this has never been about criminals. I mean, if it was, it would have been, you would have gotten your people, which you pretty much got, and we'd be done here. And if it was about undocumented, people who are undocumented, well, we've talked about the fact that there are far more undocumented people in Texas and Florida. You're not down there. You're up in Minnesota, which has got a relatively small, paltry population. Because this isn't about undocumented people either. This is about punishing Minneapolis, and it's about going after minorities. Once again, the racism controls this entire administration. And by their own numbers, 94% of the people they round up haven't done a damn thing to deserve the harassment and abuse that they have gotten. 952-946-6205. Hey, we give away those tickets?
Yeah, we did have a winner. That is... We have John from Minnetonka.
John from Minnetonka, enjoy those tickets. Tomorrow's a humdinger of a show. I got Bill Corbett from Riff Tracks and MST3K coming on in. I've got Michael Broadcourt coming in to do with our Super Bowl preview. And, of course, we got one more pair of tickets to the Blue Man Group to give away tomorrow. So make sure you're listening for that. 952-946-6205. We'll take a break, come back. It is the Matt McNeil Show on your Thursday.
This Valentine's Day, give the gift of reading at Next Chapter Booksellers. Whether you're trying to survive Trump administration too or seeking something cozy, they've got you covered. Their newest nonfiction table offers books to channel anxiety into action. While for something lighter, check out their Japanese and Korean healing fiction, or explore their upsetting shelf of surreal, strange novels. Next Chapter Booksellers can help you find the perfect gift for Valentine's Day, whether to inspire, comfort, or escape. Located off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul, more at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Hey, this is Andy Otto, Executive Director of Twin Cities Pride and your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. Our community needs your help. Twin Cities Pride is collecting donations to help our local community in need. We're collecting everything from shelf-stable food to household cleaning supplies, infant care items, and personal care products at our Pride Cultural Arts Center. If you're looking to help, reach out to us at info@tcpride.org or just stop by 1201 Harmon Place in Minneapolis. It's our time to take care of our community and take care of each other all year long.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been telling you about my friends at Snap Construction, who are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior construction company in the metro. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at all their reviews online. Winter is the most cost-effective time of the year to complete your construction project. A majority of Minnesotans choose to have their work completed on their home in the summer when they should be enjoying the weather. As a result, the demand for labor in the summer is much higher. The most cost-effective way to improve or restore your home is in the winter due to the lower demand. Right now, Snap Construction is offering an additional 30% off of labor to the AM 950 listeners on your next construction project between now and the end of February. Call 612-333-SNAP and mention AM 950 for an additional 30% off. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Thanks to everyone for out there. Hey, by the way, once again, follow me on the Substack. You can go to Matt McNeil Show on Substack and, of course, on the Blue Sky, where it's fields and rainbows and puppy dogs and flowers. It's just wonderful. Blue Sky. Matt McNeil Show on Blue Sky as well. Hey, guess what? ISIS still is as bad as ever. There was a video of them. They busted into an apartment complex to try to go get somebody. So they like, had the door where you get buzzed in. They busted out one of the big glass windows because they couldn't get in. For God's sakes. 2 Venezuelan men. This was the we talked about the Venezuelan shovel attack force that the ICE basically said existed, which didn't exist. 2 Venezuelan men who were charged with assaulting a federal immigration agent, but were told to be released. They were re-detained after a judge ordered them to be released on Tuesday. On January 14th, the 2 men allegedly assaulted an ICE officer when one was being detained by ICE. The officer then shot one of the men in the leg when he sought to escape inside of the home in North Minneapolis, and it shot through the door. And there's a question of how many rounds they actually fired into the house now. The 2 men were released from federal custody. The U.S. District Judge Paul Magnuson concluded they did not present a heightened flight risk. Magnuson also ordered they cannot be deported from the country before the ongoing case ends. Before leaving the courthouse, though, they were re-detained by ICE agents. Patrick Schlitz, the chief judge of the federal district court in Minnesota, quickly ruled that ICE cannot remove them out of state, gave the federal government until Friday to explain why they re-detained them. Schlitz is a former Supreme Court clerk who conservative Scalia, a Scalia guy, is basically saying, what the hell are you doing? He's previously ripped the Trump administration for ignoring dozens of court orders and demanded to see ICE acting director Todd Lyons for a contempt proceeding, which, reminder, he'd subpoenaed him to come on in over this one case, and they basically solved that problem by just releasing the guy who they said they could not release. Then they just released the guy so he didn't have to come testify because, you know what? It's not about immigration. It's about threatening people. The 2, by the way, that got rearrested, they were taken to the Sherburne County Jail here in the Twin Cities, the same place the federal government has been holding them. The attorney Brian Clarkson, who filed the habeas petition for the men, were when they were re-detained. They were detained before they had a chance to even speak to their defense attorneys. The incident began when ICE agents initiated a car chase with them mistaking him for one of the guys for someone else. Then they claimed that there was a broom snow shovel Quidditch attack. These guys are so bad at lying. They are. They're just so bad at lying. Then they said that because of the broom shovel attack squad Quidditch team that came after them, that they shot just out of desperation. And now we found out that it sounds like they shot through the door, and They hit the wall in one room where some kids were because, ICE agent was blindly shooting through the room. Both men, by the way, work for the evil corporation DoorDash as delivery drivers. That is why they were in a car. Yeah, anytime you guys want to go, let the door hit your ass on the way out. How about I say it like that? Native Roots Radio is up next. We are back on a Friday. Till then, see ya.
AM 950 would like to thank everyone who joined and donated during our winter membership drive. Your support shows that Minnesotans still value an independent progressive radio station that delivers facts, not spin. AM 950 is locally owned based